Hey guys, Jack here with episode, 13? I think 13 of Jack's Low Carb Journey. Today we're going to talk more about my 40-day challenge. And before we do that, let's just give you guys an update on my progress. Closing in on 40 days myself, and will be interesting, I think, to compare this fairly large group of people that have stepped up, more than I expected, to my results at 40 days. And we have a pretty good cross-section, it looks like, so far with people doing this. Anyway, I weighed in with you guys at 227 on Friday, and it is Monday morning, so I had a weekend. And I'm going to tell you that I even had one glass of wine after dinner. Don't advise a lot of that, but I decided to have one because my progress has been good. And I still, even with that, by managing my macros, including the calories and counting the carbohydrates, did lose another pound over the weekend. So I have gone from 227 on Friday, and I was 227 even on Thursday as well. So 2 days of the same weight, down to 226. I was actually 226.2 Saturday and Sunday, and dropped that other 0.2 of a pound officially this morning. So about 1 pound every 3 to 4 days is staying right there. And as we go and talk about the challenge and the requirements I'm requiring of people to officially be part, anybody can do it, right? But if you're going to be officially part of it, there are some things that I'm making mandatory. And I think our official start date will be Wednesday, because I still got emails coming in, and it's going to be 20 or 30 people or more, it looks like, and a lot of couples, and I'll say something about that in a second. But one of the big reasons that I have requirements is that there's a lot of bullshit around about keto and low carb eating, and the biggest pile of bullshit that's out there is you can eat all the foods you want, not count calories, and not worry about it, and you're still going to consistently lose weight. As I said before, there is some truth in it, and that's what actually makes it dangerous, because there are people that convince themselves that it's true, and when they hit a plateau, they refuse to look at that. And if you're tracking your calories and maintaining a caloric deficit, I think you'll find that it's not hard to do on keto at all, because you do become so full and so satiated with what you're eating. But I'm requiring it. So I'm speaking to everybody, but I'm really speaking to the people I've already responded to and said more information is coming, because a few of y'all said, well, I'm not going to do this. Well, then you're not in. Okay? Just to be blunt. Well, I'm not going to track my BMI. Well, then you're not in. Well, I'm not going to get measurements done. Then you're not in. Because I'm working on something bigger here. I'm hoping to have 10 to 20 people that do what they say they're going to do, which is follow a good quality keto program that track their body mass index and their weight for 40 days. And hopefully some group of those will have some basic labs that they can look at least, like total cholesterol, A1C, and stuff like that. And yeah, total cholesterol is way more important than just one or two numbers of that. We'll get into that down the road. But you know, your basic metabolic function and endocrine function. Your endocrine function specifically, more than half of America is in full-blown metabolic syndrome. And I believe it's the biggest health threat we have. It causes type 2 diabetes and so many other things. And I believe that most people can reverse it just with keto for 40 to 90 days. So I'm going to be kind of an asshole. And if you tell me something like, well, I'm not doing... One person said they're not going to do their body mass index because they think it's a useless number. You're totally entitled to that. You're not part of the official tracking, because it is important. And I know some people don't want to look at it. Some people don't want to hear it. Some people don't want to know it. And you might need some help to get accurate measurements. For men, you're going to need a measurement in the narrowest part of your neck, which is about right there. You're going to need a measurement around your navel, with your stomach just let out naturally. And for women, you're going to need those two measurements plus the widest part of your hips. And I can understand why some people don't want to do that. I don't care. I'm not using your real name. On the naming convention for this little, like, amateur study, I guess we would call it, I had people, don't use my name, whatever. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use your first name. Your name's Phil. Which Phil? There's 500 million of them, right? And if Phil's the first person on the list, Phil will be Phil001. And if the next person's Debbie, it'll be Debbie002. And if the next person's Mark, it'll be Mark003. And if you want to tell somebody you're Mark or Debbie or Tom or Fred or Phil or, you know, whatever, you're welcome to, and I won't tell anybody. And that'll just make this easy. But and there's going to be certain things, you know, alcohol is limited to one drink 1 day a week. period. Now, I did have a person write in and say, hey, I got like a social thing going on, a commitment. Like, I want to be, you can drink for that, dude. I understand that. You just need to record that you did. And that particular person doesn't have much weight to lose. So I think anybody can improve their health going keto, but some people need to lose weight and some don't. I don't think that dude needs to lose much weight at all, but he might have some real better body function if he does that. So, but in general, if I say it's mandatory, it's mandatory. So an email is going to go out tomorrow to all the people that said yes, that they're in, that'll give basically mandatory things, really highly suggested things, and some optional things that may help you. This is going to include things like you need to weigh your food, right? You need to weigh your food. You can't not weigh your food. And I'll give you some rules like if the numbers you have are for cooked meat and you're for raw meat and you're using cooked meat, use 75% of the weight for the same numbers and things like that. And to double check, the back of the package against like apps and things like that. The reason I'm being this way is primarily it has to do with calories and your basal metabolic rate. Without a BMI, without the information that is your age, your sex, your weight, your height, and your BMI, you can't do an accurate calculation of the macro breakdown that you should be doing. You can't. You can just guess and you're just spitting at it. And let's say you way underestimate your BMI. Well, your caloric load's going to be way up. So your fat, your carbohydrates, and everything else is going to be way up. You got to weigh yourself daily. I don't think it's really important to weigh yourself daily, but for this, I think we need to do it for the purpose of a habit. You need to weigh yourself, like I've said before, same time, under the same circumstances every day. And I want you to see your weight go up occasionally, because it's going to happen. You're going to be like 229 today and 229.9 tomorrow. And then you might be the next day you drop a full pound. It happens. My weight has done that. Those little 1 pounds are not that important. We need to be looking at progress over the week and over the month. But that's how it's going to go down. And again, anybody that has their butt hurt or whatever, because I said, you know what, if you're not going to do this, I'm not going to count you. You're not going to get a name and a number. You can still do it. Anybody that emails me, I'm going to send you my spreadsheet, what have you. You can do it, but I'm not going to spend my time tracking your results if you won't commit to tracking your own results accurately. Additionally, I have a bigger plan for this, and I'll give you a little inkling of what I want to do. If I can get this done, and I can get some number of you guys to actually say, hey, I'm Tom001, and my real name is Tom Smith, and I'm from so-and-so. Here's a picture of me before and after, and I did this along with Jack, and it really works. I can put something together, and what I would like to do is actually commission more of a proper study with video. Where we have, this would have to be geographically in a single point or maybe 2 points if we have two practitioners. I can get to do this, but having MDs or at least certified nutritionists or chiropractors or somebody like that is open to the keto approach to actually have people come to their site to do official weights and measurements and to order specific labs, the labs that all the MDs that tell you to eat garbage and poison would agree are important labs, so that everything is recorded by a professional and done in a professional format, and have those people actually commit to the program for not 40 days but 90. And to have this create a video documentary that would probably run about an hour and 30 minutes, somewhere in that range. It's about as far as you can go on before people get bored. That would catalog a few of the members individually that were part of the study and what have you, like you've seen before. But I've seen a lot of people do this, and what it is media personalities, and they go on keto for like 2 to 3 weeks. And they generally don't do it right. They generally don't track their calories. They eat as much as they can. They abuse it, and they still lose weight, and their numbers still go down. And they always have their doctor go, well, I can't say this isn't better, but it's only one data point. Usually it's a fat-ass doctor telling them not to eat fat and protein and to eat their carbohydrates and their poisonous fructose like a good little drone. Well, what I would like to do is have 30 or 40 people tracked this way. And I would like to take their results to, half a dozen to a dozen, health practitioners that claim they include diet and exercise as part of their recommendations, and go, here is the results for a patient. Boom, here, look at this. And they have that go, boy, that's bad. I mean, this person needs blood pressure medication. This person needs statin drugs. Person needs cholesterol-lowering medication, and they need diet and exercise, and they should follow the food pyramid and all that stupid shit. And then I'd like to say, well, doctor so-and-so, we're recommending that this person proceed forward with no medications since none of this is considered immediately life-threatening and necessary in this moment, and go for 90 days on a diet that consists of about 70 to 75% animal fats from high-quality animal fats, grass-fed beef, etc., about 20 to 25%, depending on how much fat it works out for them, of protein, and about 5% carbohydrates, generally limiting, at least in the first 45 days, to less than 20 carbohydrates a day. How do you feel about that? And have that doctor go, oh, the diet, it's going to kill them and they're going to die and stuff, right? Yeah. And then go, well, actually, we already did this, and here's the results of that patient 90 days later. Now, what do you have to say? And then have a common, like an idiot, and then say, but it's only one data point, and I can't really be sure, really, because here's patient two's results, and here's patient two's results after 90 days of this eating. Is that enough data points? No. Here's patient 3. How about that? Here's patient 4. How about that? Until they go, I don't want to talk anymore. And then we have to convince them to sign a release form to actually let us use the footage and get 5 or 6 doctors doing that bullshit. And then say, look, will you guys ever accept anything other than what you've been trained to believe? And I want to go back to that. I think I've talked about this before in these episodes. The problem we have with medical professionals today is they're not taught anymore, they're trained. And teaching and training are different things. I trained my dog. I taught my son. There is a difference. To train means to condition an organism so that it cannot perform differently than the desired result under specific circumstances. In other words, my dog is trained. If I look at my dog and I say sit, that dog can't help but sit down. He will sit the second I say the word, especially if I sound like I mean it, because he's been trained. He's been conditioned. Sit means sit. Right? Got it? You can train a slime mold up the side of a tree. You can train a tree into a bonsai. That's training. Teaching is enabling the process of learning. So that teaching may include certain facts and knowledge and bases, but at the point that the person's actually taught, they can take that information, gather new information, and make new decisions based on the new information that they have. If you think that's what they're doing to medical professionals today in medical school, you are deluded. Because you cannot be a person who's been taught versus trained and be presented with the monumental evidence that has been provided already on this stuff and continue to parrot the bullshit that you parrot unless you've been trained instead of taught. We are training doctors and physicians instead of teaching them, and it is killing America. Well, I think that we can start with this little test here that is truly unscientific, but at least has enough data points to make a valid case. And I think I can take that with my reach to over 200,000 people in my podcast and the massive size of the ketogenic and low-carb and paleo and primal community that's out there, and put those two things together, and maybe next year, early in the year, run a Kickstarter and produce something like's never been produced before. Will it happen? I don't know. Will the results that I get from what I'm doing now work out the way I think they will? I don't know. I don't claim to know. I know what my results are. That's why I'm doing this. But all I'm telling you is if I have people on board that want to do this the right way, then, maybe for 20 or 30,000 bucks, we can produce something like's never been produced before about this, completely fund it, and completely grassroots fund it, and put something up and go ahead, poke holes in it. Go ahead, try. Go ahead, explain your bullshit now. So that's where I'm going with this. Where will we get there or not? I don't know. But I know that, the first step of any journey is the most important one. I'm taking my journey. I'm asking some of y'all to come with me. The reason we're waiting till Wednesday for the official start on this is, again, because emails keep coming in. So there you go. That's where we're at. Remember, though, you don't have to do it my way. There's a lot of ways to do this. There's a lot of good information out there, but remember there's a lot of bad information. And when somebody tells you can eat as much as you want and still lose weight, remember what I said, man. If it sounds like something you want to hear, it's probably not true. Again, all your problems, the person behind them, can be addressed by walking in your bathroom and looking in the mirror. And on the floor in that bathroom's probably a scale. That scale can be your friend or your enemy. It's your choice. With that, jack out.